Hey, before the video starts, please like, comment, and sub if you enjoy my content. It genuinely helps the channel so much and lets me know to keep making more videos like this one. Likewise, I will be streaming on Twitch. If you could drop a follow there, it'd be greatly appreciated. Hope you enjoy, and thanks for clicking. What is the best weapon in Fallout New Vegas? Most of you would say the anti-material rifle. Some of you may say the Gatling laser or the Fat Man. Perhaps the Merv, but those of you who are distinguished gentlemen know that the right answer is the Sledgehammer. My name is that fella, and I've done two things. First, I've watched a lot of Jabbo, hence the green screen, and this intro in general. Very Jabbo coded. Except I'm bald. Secondly, I played Fallout New Vegas with only the Sledgehammer, and let me tell you something, buddy guy, it is an experience. Truly. I know some of you may not be convinced. I'm looking at you, Enclave fanboy. The Sledgehammer bonks and it swings, but best of all, it has an ability in VATS that lets me knock Deathclaws away and Legion boys right off the Hoover Dam. A little more enticing now, isn't it? And with that, let's get right into it. In the humble abode that is Doc Mitchell's medical practice, I decided my name would be Peter Gabriel after his lovely song, Sledgehammer. Given the nature of this run, strength is king and intelligence would aid in increasing passive stats for skill checks and, bludgeoning capability. Endurance is a given for any tank build in an MMO, and as we all know, Fallout New Vegas is an MMO. Perception doesn't matter, eyesight is overrated when you have a hammer. Charisma, like small talk, is cheap, especially when you're in a Lowe's that's holding a holiday sale. I decided to get the Varmint rifle from Obsidian's version of Ambata. We're going to use this to get the attention of a Deathclaw to dispose of the denizens of Sloan. I hope I'm saying that right. Who are quarry workers. The Union ain't gonna save you from this one, boys. See, unfortunately, the Sledgehammer isn't super common in the vanilla game. It's not rare. It's not a rare item by any means. It just doesn't pop up all that much. So the god of hammers, a Thor, requires a pittance for a hammer. After the Deathclaw does his business, I decided to wait it out. Unfortunately, I waited so long that the hammer that got dropped would despawn. Just gone, no longer existing. Daddy left for cigarettes, and well, we know how that goes. So I loaded a save and waited an appropriate amount of time and did the only thing I could think of. Let the Deathclaw get far enough that I could fast travel, walk back to Sloan and get the Deathclaw's attention, wait for it to come to me, and then jump down and beeline for the hammer. This surprisingly worked. I honestly wasn't thinking much of this plan, but similar to how my parents reacted to when I dropped out of college, everything, turned out alright. That's a lie, but sometimes we have to alter our perceptions in favor of a happier world. Thanks, Dad. I took my newfound hammer back to Goodsprings and introduced Joe Cobb to her. They became close acquaintances real quick and good. Introduced his lovers to them as well. I gotta love polygamy. Joe Cobb is girl bossing and slaying as always. Stopping by Prim, I grabbed some of the clothes the sheriff wasn't using, cleared out the hotel, and wiped the first floor clean. The Sledgehammer has a really fun ability called Mauler. This thing makes me feel powerful. Like, remember getting the Granite Maul in RuneScape? That's the type of shit I was on. This thing would just send NPCs a-flying. How effective is this ability? Well, Nipton was soon liberated from Legion control, but can you really liberate a trash fire? What I'm really trying to say is that Vulpes won't be attending any furry conventions anytime soon. Made my way to Novak and visited Jeannie May. I did nothing else here. I was a man on a mission and aided Boone, although he would never know. Next, I travel from Novak to the I-88 and eventually get to Vegas. With this mission in mind, I, for some reason, stopped by Helios and just started swinging. I don't think it was for the experience as much as perhaps some forgotten vendetta against Fantastic, but yeah, now I'm an enemy of the NCR. On the road, once more, I was jumped by some raiders. They might have won, but they brought grenades to a mall fight. I couldn't have witnesses, so the lonesome man who probably plays Wonderwall in his free time had to go. In Freeside, I continued being a menace. The locals stood no chance. I attempted to brute force my way through the Vegas Strip, but ultimately died. Instead, I opted to use a stealth boy, destroyed one of the robots, and took the key. At the tops, I again learned that aggression doesn't mean success. So I confronted Benny, left, and made sure he had gone for the fort. There I met Caesar, and he sent me underground. This section was a lot easier since I'd spec into science as a passive skill. I disabled the robots, powered the Securitrons, and sold Caesar. We were cooking with gas, baby. Little did he know that gas would be the fuel to the pyre he'd lay on. Oh, and I crucified Chandler. Soon after, Mr. House met a similar fate as Andrew Ryan, and I figured, yeah, I'll side with the Legion this playthrough, maybe. George dies in this timeline and all others, no questions asked, you know how it goes. At the Boomers, I repaired the arrays for skill points and smashed some ants, learned the history of the Boomers, I helped Nemo make his way back home, and lifted the plane because apparently it helped an old man get an erection or something. I don't know, the quest is kinda hazy at this point. I ambiguously told Caesar the Boomers would be at the Battle of Hoover Dam. I really donked things up trying to get an allegiance between the Legion and the White Glove Society. At this point, I just accepted I didn't care about Caesar or John Doman's amazing performance as a voice actor. Yes Man ending it is, I am selling out. Veronica to gain access to the Brotherhood of Steel bunker, but I think it bugged out. They tried to kill us after I suggested my hammer meet their heads. The audacity was, really something. I loaded and resolved things peaceably by accepting to get an explosive necklace put on. They wanted me to figure out a solution to an NCR soldier being in their personal bubble. My solution was to pop the bubble. The Elder spoke ill of me, so I blew up everyone he knew. Talk about cause and effect. There's not much to say about the Great Khans. I legitimately just started swinging to get that part out of the way. Feeling this playthrough was a tad too short, I said, hey, let's play my least favorite DLC. Apparently OBS also doesn't like this DLC because it just didn't record at any point before the tunnelers, so sorry about that. If it makes you feel better, it sucked. I spent a good bit of my time just seeing what platforms I could launch enemies off of, got a few good hits on the marked men, had a slight fall, and suddenly this playthrough had gone full circle. No longer running from Deathclaws like at Sloan, I am now sending them to the stars. See you later, Space Cowboy. More marked men laced the way to the Hopeville silo. Bonesaw was in fact not ready. I set off the explosives and had one of those awkward experiences you do on elevators where it gets a bit too crowded. Around here, I started struggling a bit with healing items, but an auto dock was nearby. I just had to kill the surrounding tunnelers. The first round was a tie, but my second come around, we had them. Ulysses hacked Eddie, and I again started terrorizing Deathclaws. I ran into invisible marked man, and as I've done before and will always do, I sent him out of the park. After finding Eddie, it was time to start the boss fight of the DLC. Usually I finish this DLC using a sneak attack and an anti-materia rifle or a speech check, so I wasn't used to seeing his healing robot actually be of use. I made sure to deal with it via a hammer, but its respawn time was actually an issue. I decided to just hit Ulysses down into the bottom of the rocket, but apparently that just causes the game to bug. Even though he is dead, I didn't get the prompt that I had won, and the quest remained stagnant. The following attempt, I used the computers to turn the robots against him. He then followed me down there, which was perfect because the hordes of marked men didn't have sights on me. I connected my sledgehammer to Ulysses' side, and that was all she wrote. Ending the DLC, I decided to target both the NCR and the Legion, completing the Lonesome Road DLC. Now to finish the main quest, I returned to Yes Man. He mentioned President Kimball will probably get assassinated, but I couldn't bother with it. Wrapping things up at the El Dorado substation, I headed to the Hoover Dam for the final battle. With the help of Securitrons, I was truly a force to be reckoned with. I tried my Lonesome Road tactic of knocking Legion troops off the dam. Sometimes it worked, but other times they just kind of reappear back on the dam. It was pretty funny to see, to be honest. I've never witnessed that little glitch. The battle with Legate Lanius was probably the strangest one I've had to date. I knocked him around a few times with the VATS ability, and after the third time his body just kind of disappeared. So I started swinging at the other Legion boys, and then I got the quest prompt that I had defeated the Legate. I found the Legate's body where I had last hit him, so I'm not positive of, what happened. New Vegas is just a funny game like that sometimes. I concussed General Oliver, and with that I beat Fallout New Vegas with the Sledgehammer. All in all, the Sledgehammer was probably my favorite way of playing the game thus far on the channel, and not having to worry about ammo was a huge plus, and the hammer was pretty cheap to repair when needed. Thanks to everyone for watching. If you have any challenges you want to see done, feel free to comment. As always, you've been great, and I'll catch you next time.